When Homebound was initially released, I avoided watching it for a while because I was sure that it's going to be a heavy, heartbreaking watch, given that it was about difficult topics like caste discrimination and struggles of migrant workers during the COVID pandemic. And to be honest, I have spent years building a sort of an apathy armor to survive in this world, and I don't quite like it when movies break through that shield. So I just try to avoid watching movies that make me sad. But then I started to hear the buzz. I heard some people call the film beautiful. They did not use the terms sad or painful, but beautiful. That got me a little curious. I don't hear many people call a movie beautiful anymore, so I finally watched it in the theater. I walked in bracing for the exhausting sadness, but I tell you, I was proven completely wrong. It was nothing like that. It was a soul-stirring experience and it left my heart feeling so full, a complete surprise. As the credits rolled and the lights came up, there was an overwhelming silent hush over the audience. And I have to admit, the film really got me. I tried to pull myself together, but there were some tears that I fought for a few short moments. And I don't think I was alone in the theater. The story had broken through my apathy. In order to feel a loss, you have to first care. And that's what the film does. It disarms you and makes you care. Not by playing victim, but with beauty of its story and its characters. Characters with remarkable emotional depth who live with grace and courage and go to incredible lengths for each other. That's why the reaction from the people. This was exceptionally beautiful. The extraordinary lives of ordinary people. The light from this film has stayed with me ever since. I expected it to drain me. Instead, it actually has given me so much that I had to make this video and share it with you. Please do leave a comment and let me know what you thought of this film. But for now, let's dive into the story. This is Homebound. This is a story about Shoaib and Chandan, two young men who are brothers more than friends. We meet them when they are standing at a very critical point in their lives, a time to make something of yourself. This usually means fighting for access to a higher education or a stable job, both of which are incredibly difficult to secure in our world today. There are far fewer opportunities than there are number of people competing for them. It's truly a scary phase of life for young people. One bad decision or one stroke of bad luck can derail your entire life. But that's not all. Shoaib is a Muslim and Chandan is a Dalit. The film does not hide what this means for a poor person. Most films just gloss over caste reality or sometimes avoid acknowledging its existence entirely. It plays a significant role in how much this affects their lives, how an already challenging situation becomes even more crippling. Their identities are at the heart of this film because it is also unavoidably at the center of their lives. In the first scene of the film, we see both of them go for the National Police exam. The idea is that if you're in uniform, you will finally earn basic respect, which currently does not exist. Maybe a liberation from this nonsensical but constant caste shaming that goes on in their world. However, we see the hordes of people who are also there for the exam. It feels like 1 million people are fighting for a handful of seats. It's terrifying. So they have to try their luck anywhere they can. This movie is a must-watch. Full spoilers from here on out. Shoaib finds work as a peon in a sales team. He is clearly capable of so much more with his intelligence and drive to do well, but he is not a graduate and doesn't speak English too well, so he is not considered for a higher position. Still, he does his best. Some folks at work make hurtful jokes about him being Muslim, and some are constantly suspicious of him. You can tell how this breaks his spirit a little bit, one small jab at a time. Shoaib's father has a leg injury which needs an urgent surgery. He's not able to work because of it. The stakes are high and Shoaib needs to make something happen. The clock is ticking. Chandan, meanwhile, is trying to navigate the daunting, expensive world of college. His house is literally falling apart. His mother, his father, and his sister toil away every day, hard labor, so that he can have a shot at a better future. He naturally feels the constant pressure to go join them. The education route is good, but very slow and long. He needs the money now. Parents are getting old. What a luxury it is to just be a college kid. for 4 years with all your focus because your family is taken care of. I had never really thought about it. We see Chandan hiding his caste in conversations and still being taunted for it often. The world never really lets them forget their identity. It shows up everywhere, at work, in public spaces, in everyday interactions, subtle and not so subtle forms of discrimination. These are not always dramatic moments, but constant repeated obstacles. Small cuts that seem to accumulate over time. We see how much it affects them on a day-to-day basis. So, it's not just that the path is difficult. It feels like a culture designed to slow them down, to wear them out. A sabotaging machine, if you will. It feels like they're swimming against the vortex of poverty and caste. And this is probably the experience of millions of people. Homebound is a searing depiction of what young people in India are up against. And yet, in spite of all of these problems, this is not a story about people collapsing under that pressure. Because the film slowly reveals to us how remarkable ordinary people are and how they endure so much with a level of dignity and grace and still keep trying every day. Chandan panics when he sees how many people are there for the police exam. He wants to leave. Shoaib encourages Chandan to try, reminding him of how high the stakes are. Shoaib himself has been preparing for this mentally and physically for a long time. But when the results come out, the irony is bitter. Chandan passes, but Shoaib, who actually wanted it the most, is rejected. For someone who had built his identity around that goal, this is devastating. He struggles to even imagine an alternative for himself. In a world this competitive, this kind of shock usually destroys friendships. Shoaib initially recoils, his pride wounded. He abhors Chandan's sympathy and pushes him away. And for a while, the bond breaks. But life hits Shoaib again. He quits even his meager job because he can't take that disrespect anymore. It feels like rock bottom. He has nowhere else to go, so he goes back to Chandan. It's one of my favorite scenes of the film. Chandan doesn't respond with ego or resentment. He just shows up. He lets Shoaib fall apart in his arms. And then he helps him stand up again. Life is full of possibilities. Failures don't define us. There's no scorekeeping here, just love. What would most of us give for a brother like that? Then there is the breakup scene between Chandan and Sudha. Sudha tells him that she won't be able to respect him if he quit college and did not pursue graduation. For her, that means a lot. That's what she associates with ambition. But Chandan has cleared the police exam and wants to train to become a police constable. This would bring him respect and an income right now, and that's more important to him. His family needs him right now. They both stand by what they believe in and respectfully walk away. Then months later, Sudha reaches out to him. She admits that growing up, she saw her father fail so many times that she became desperate to see success in Chandan. So that's why she was pushing him so hard. But over time, she realized something deeper. That everyone struggles differently. That there isn't just one path to reaching one's potential. This is such a beautifully mature thing to say. And she is so sincere when she says it. Chandan is moved, and so was I. Anyone who can drop their ego to see the other person's situation is a rare gem. She shows respect for his struggle, and suddenly there is space for them to have a relationship. The film is full of moments like this. You can sense a muted panic in Shoaib's house. Father's leg is getting worse, and he is the only earning member of the house. He constantly taunts Shoaib for not going to Dubai for work. But Shoaib is a man with strong convictions. He believes he can find his place right here in his own country. You have to admire that. This creates that constant tension between them. The father keeps jabbing him with hurtful comments, but Shoaib never snaps back at his father. He just absorbs it. He's torn, but no amount of jabs could get him to insult his father back. Respect is a love language here, even though you can see it break him slowly. Then one day, the father just lets go. Seeing you sad breaks my heart, he says. Go do whatever you think is right, but don't be so sad. And we see the weight lift off of Shoaib in real time. Imagine having a moment like that with your father, or a partner who can see you the way Sudha sees Chandan, or a brother who stands by you like that, or a mother and a sister that holds you together like this. When you really sit with it, you realize these people are not living in scarcity. Well, not in the way I thought, at least. They are living in a kind of a quiet internal abundance. An abundance of connection, of love, of emotional depth, and that's what took me by surprise. I went into this film trying to avoid what poverty does to people, but what I found instead was a world where people, even in the harshest conditions, still manage to remain deeply human. I would call them whole people. And by whole, I don't mean perfect. I mean people who are not consumed by themselves. People who still have the emotional space to see another person. They can let go of their ego just enough to choose connection. And honestly, I don't see characters like this very often anymore. So many stories today are built around people who cannot do this, who stay trapped in their pride, their hurt, their isolation. But here in Homebound, we see people finding their way back to each other again and again. And that was the most beautiful thing about the film for me. It doesn't just show you suffering, it shows you how much humanity can still survive inside it. And just when you begin to believe that this kind of strength can survive anything, a pandemic sweeps across the country. An already fragile survival system gets hit with a sledgehammer. Chandan and Shoaib are simply trying to get home during the COVID lockdown, and this somehow turns into a life and death ordeal. We all saw those images. People walking hundreds of kilometers, carrying their lives on their backs. But reading about it is one thing. Watching someone you care about go through it is shocking and scary, because there was absolutely no help, no transportation, no hospitals, not even something basic as water. Chandan gets a flu initially, I think, but then turns into a heat stroke as he gets no place to rest or any health care. Shoaib drags him around, carries him in the hope of finding any help, but there is none of it. The light in Chandan's eyes disappears slowly. It is heartbreaking to watch a young man die for no reason. All while Shoaib fights with everything he has to keep him alive. He doesn't give up, keeps talking hope into him. He keeps going as if sheer will alone could keep his brother alive. We see in that moment what their brotherhood is made of. Shoaib does right by his brother. Even after losing him, he continues. He brings him home, he stands by his family, and even builds the house Chandan dreamed of. It seems like he quietly steps into the space Chandan left behind. Earlier in the film, Chandan says something on the lines of, "Only one of us has to make it," and in the end, Shoaib proves that to be true. Nothing heroic here, just a regular man standing strong for the people around him. Chandan's death is not just someone's personal tragedy. It's a devastating testament of how easily this system will let its people die. Caste allows us to dehumanize people. Maybe that is why our country is okay with neglecting so much of its population. A life full of potential, of possibilities thrown away. Maybe he could have become a great police officer. We will never know. Maybe there are some other amazing artists and writers among this crowd, but we will never know. What a loss for all of us. And you can't help but feel the weight of that. This is a system designed for dejection, stripping young people of their creative and intellectual energy and reducing them to human batteries. The best people in the world trapped in the worst system in the world. And I kept asking myself, why did this film then leave me feeling full and warm, even after all of this? I think it's because it gave me something I didn't realize I had lost. Hope. Not in the systems, but in our people. I had started believing that difficult conditions only produce darkness, that eventually only survival instincts remain. But Homebound defies that idea with remarkable audacity. It shows us people who can still carry love and integrity and ambition, even when faced with relentless abuse, and that realization has stayed with me. Homebound is not a story about victims. It is a story about whole human beings who remain bright in the face of spiritual bankruptcy. Young people are creative and ambitious. All they need is a fair chance, and they could change the world. It is a signal in the sky reminding us that humanity still has a beating heart and that we owe our young people a better world. Thanks for listening, and I will see you in the next one.